Happy Wednesday. I got JP and the Land Yoda here.
What's up? What's up, man?
Not much. What do you guys got going on?
Oh, dude, actually, we were making some changes this week. We had a big meeting at the beginning of the week, and analyzing what's going on in the market, what's going on with our marketing, and then just making some changes to our approach to the team. Dude, it's like it's the ever-changing game, and trying to make sure you keep the funnel full. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's honestly like this business is constantly reinventing yourself. It's really the best thing. You got to keep reinvesting and reinventing and keep changing things, because you go stale, like the guys that are offering 25% still. How do you run a business like that?
Yeah.
Crazy, So I know you guys. We've talked a couple times about what you guys do, your marketing, but for those who don't know, like kind of what do you do? What kind of land space are you in? All that.
Yeah, awesome. I'll let Nick go.
All right, my name is not Land Yoda. It's Nick.
Damn, I really thought that was your name.
Land Yoda. That's the best.
Clarify that.
You're not that old though, man.
So Nick Marinos, anybody want to look me up, say hi or whatever on social media. So we own a company called Veteran Land Buyers. I started this before JP. He used to flip houses, and we partnered up 2 years now, a little over 2 years. And I started in the Florida market, and then I branched out and went other states. Back in 2021, 2020, I was in Iraq. I was halfway around the world flipping dirt.
Yeah.
And it was great. I mean, it was during COVID. Business was booming, right? You couldn't keep stuff on the shelf. So it was awesome for a while. And then JP and I linked up 2 years ago. So we do all we're not a one-trick pony. We look at everything and, try to use my mind or whatever. Now we have a team. Back then, we didn't have a huge team when we first started. It was just me, JP, and his son originally. And then I hired on another guy named Jerry, who's been with us the longest. He's from El Salvador. So basically, I try to take my brain and look at land, and, when we had his son and then Jerry. So we only did one assignment, I think, together. And even before JP, I did like 30, 40 deals by myself, wearing all the hats. And I had no partners, no nothing. I only did one assignment. So we're not an assignment paper flipper company. We do double closes. We take down deals. We generate notes for the cash flow aspect. We look at subdivide plays. We're going to subdivide in Spartanburg, South Carolina, and we're locking up. I just signed a fucking thing. We're locking up a 65 to mid 70 unit subdivide.
Nice.
Play. It's 18.5 acres. So it's going to be a 7-figure deal.
Sweet.
So we're getting under contract with that today. As soon as I sign it, he already signed on his end. So that's
Where's that at?
That's in Fayetteville, Bentonville, Arkansas, Northwest Arkansas.
Okay. You guys primarily work those markets, right? That's like your home bread and butter.
Well, yeah, Arkansas, South Carolina, Florida, but then we were doing we did PPC nationwide. So we did a deal in Montana, we did a deal in California, Tennessee,
Louisiana. I mean, all over
Texas. Yeah. So in a nutshell, that's like what we do. We'll look at anything. Commercial, industrial, whatever. If it makes sense, if the numbers work, I go in Crexy a lot. I go in LoopNet, if it's commercial or industrial land. We had other investors, land flippers, reach out to us in the past for help and JV deals. But I'm not big on JVs. Wholesalers will come to us and they want retail or over retail. Yeah. And most of the time it's on the MLS.
I bought some wholesale deals, and it's like, they made $5,000, and then it's like, okay, cool. I try to list it, and it's like half the time it just doesn't go anywhere. Like, yeah. And it's like, I should have probably not bought them, but it was kind of like lenders wanted to get their money in, and I'm like, yeah, might as well just fill it. So, but yeah, I don't love the wholesale model. I do just like direct to seller, buy it, move on.
Yeah, it's different, man, especially in land, because it's like I mean, for all intents and purposes, like we are the wholesaler, right? So like if we're buying wholesaler, I mean, like in the land game, it's like we're selling to builders, retail buyers. And so it's like, at that point you're talking about like daisy chaining a deal or something like that, which like you said, man, there's just not much meat on the bone unless it's, I mean, that's not all of them, obviously, right? Like there are some out there where that would make sense, and probably more of like a JV style rather than like, a wholesaler selling it to another wholesaler,
Yeah, exactly. So, so you guys said you look at Crexy a lot. Do you guys do any kind of like entitlements or anything like that? Have you done many of them?
Oh, well, we're about to. The one we're signing today, that's going to be an entitlement deal. One, I wouldn't call it really an entitlement. It was just
like a major subdivide.
Yeah, the subdivide in Spartanburg. That was just if you're over 5 acres, it was a 15.5 acre tract. If you leave it over 5 acres, you don't need a site plan. You don't need a plat map. You don't need entitlement work. You just get a survey done, record it, get 3 different pins or APNs, however you want to word it, and that's it.
Yep. Yeah, it's just an exempt subdivide. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty easy.
That's what we're doing in Texas and stuff like that. And I have one in North Carolina. We're hopefully going to work on trying to run the numbers on it now, and some other ones too. I like the exempts because they're so easy. Like
water, yeah, no doubt.
It's just survey, check you got water and all that stuff, and boom, you're good to go. You know what I mean?
And Texas is what, 10 plus, right? Texas
10 plus, yeah. Texas is changing their rules right now. I don't know if you know this, but their growth is happening too fast. They can't keep up with it. So they're about to change the exempt subdivision rules, where you're not allowed to do that anymore.
Dang.
So that's going to be a big thing if they change that. Now, obviously, it has to get approved. It has to go through everything, a bunch of channels, and then whatever, and then the counties actually have to accept and then go through with that and all that stuff. Because not for nothing, but how many of these counties even have the capacity to be reviewing all these plans and doing all that stuff? Like West Texas, when you got like 2 people on the seat, like you really think you're going to be sitting there and like reviewing all these deals? Like hell no,
Right.
It's probably very far and few between. So I don't know how like much they'll actually implement, but if things are changing, might start changing other places too. So, but what's the worst case scenario? You have to submit it to a town, get approvals, and still move on. Still do the subdivide.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's this other one you're working on? The one you got to sign?
The one today I was talking about. So the backstory is the guy owns probably, what do you say, like 1,000 acres. Between him and his brother.
It's an entire golf course. Yep.
Yeah, between him and his brother, he owns like 5 different golf courses.
Wow.
And this specific one is like hole 13, 14, 15, or 14, 15, 16, some shit like that. 3 holes, combined acreage like 18.5. He shut this one down. I guess it wasn't the highest producing one during COVID. So he shut it down right when COVID started happening, and people couldn't go out and hit a golf ball because they might get COVID in the middle of the grass. So he shut that one down.
COVID, man, come on, that was some serious shit.
Yeah, man, you might catch COVID hitting a golf ball. So he shut that down, never opened it back up, and then now slowly but surely he's been partialing it off, like selling them individually.
Really? I never thought about buying a golf course. That's interesting.
Yeah. So the guy kind of he reneged on his original deal. We've been working with this guy 2, maybe 3 months now. I know since late January, early February. So the original agreement was we would go like a JV partnership type deal. Sure. And he would hold a note, basically 0% interest, no down payment on base plus. Base being like we agreed on 23,000 some change an acre, 23,147 I think it was. And so it came out to 423 or 27,000 bucks. Call it 430 on an 18.5 acres. And then after the entitlement work, and we sell it off to a developer or a developer builder, aka like somebody like D.R. Horton that does everything.
Yeah.
We would exit at that point, and once we exit, then he gets his 430 plus 10% of the upside. And then we get cashed out. And if we brought on a money partner, they would get their percentage, whatever that might be, 20, 30%. And then we get our share. Basically, we would be just finagling the deal without too much work involved in it. We got a civil engineer that we leverage on potential subdivide deals. Kenny lives by us in Florida. So we bring him on as our SME, subject matter expert on it, and he would get his stake. We're looking at like $2,000 per lot for entitlement work. So 125 to 150 ish roughly for entitlement work.
Not bad.
And exit at like 1.2. So, in it for maybe less than 600 and then exit for 1.2.
That's awesome. So what did he change on it? Now you have to buy it cash or?
Yeah. So I guess he got one in a lifetime deal opportunities in Oklahoma, which is the next state over. Some old fart owns a pot business. He owns a dispensary and he's making money hand over fist, but he wants to retire, sell the business and move to Costa Rica and cash out. So he made like $2.5-3 million last year, I guess. Yeah. So this dude needs an influx of money. He needs a lot more capital right now. So that's why he changed. He wants to just cashed out. So we're like, oh shit, this sucks. So where are we going to get $435,000 off the rip from? Not
only that, but at the terms you had it. It's not really the terms that really change and dictate the deal because you had 0% interest. That's insane. Like, now you have to go get lending, and lending, depending on where you get, if you get it from a bank, that's 7 to 9%.
Yeah.
So
we're going to look for an equity partner. Is all we're going to do. A lender partner probably. Yeah. But he wants cashed out. But he originally wanted, what was it, JP? $4,500 up front, non-refundable.
Yep.
90-day DD, and then close escrow 15 days after that. And me and him were like, hell no. Like it doesn't matter if you get it locked up with us or a developer / builder locks it up with you. They have a million exit clauses, and they're going to get their deposit back anyway.
Exactly.
So back and forth a little in the last couple of weeks for negotiations. Had to do an addendum on it. There was conflict with the acreage. He said it was like 19 and some acres, and we're like, no, we're seeing in the CAD and everything, or the GIS 18.48. So he agreed on. We changed the price per acre then to reflect that. But if the new survey shows it's a true 19 acres, then that's going to change.
Yeah. Usually, like larger parcels, I always put a per acre price on my thing, so that when I survey, if it comes out to like 297 or 298, that's what I'm paying. And that's what you got to do, especially like anything that could be kind of questionable.
Yeah.
I usually put a per acre price, and then sometimes I'll even put like not to exceed X amount. So like I'm locking in my price and a per acre price kind of thing.
Yeah, we changed that. That was one of the addendums. And the big thing was, I said, look, man, all right, we're not going to go hard 4,500 3 days after contract signing. Like, we're not doing that non-refundable. We'll do, and I asked JP, like, what do you think about doubling it with a 90-day DD and refundable? He said, yeah. So pitch it. So I said, look, dude, I'll give you $9,000, 90 days DD, and at that 90-day mark, it'll go hard in escrow. And 15 days post, we close escrow over the remainder amount.
Yep.
So he's like, okay, yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I usually do that. Or I'll put like $1,000 down as a hard, and then like $5,000 down as like a soft, something like that. And people tend to be like, okay, at least he's got some skin in the game.
Yeah.
That's sick. It's funny, man. Sellers always like switch the role. We had ours. It was our 300-acre subdivide. It's exempt, so it's pretty simple. Seller finance, the whole 9. 7%, 10% down, 7% over 15 years, and whatchamacallit, whatever. So pretty good terms, right? So we figured we could get it. We could wrap the notes, all that stuff. He was fine. Everything was great. Actually, that's the reason why he called us, because we offered seller finance. And he's like, you guys seem smart enough to make an offer like that.
Yeah.
I think you're smart enough to do this deal. Yeah. And that's why he freaking called us. So great, because he actually writes notes. He used to do auditing for notes for Fannie Freddie. So he knows notes. That's what smart, really smart dude. Retired guy now, whatever. Lo and behold, he's like, I'm not going to let my attorney blow it up. We're still going to do the deal. Freaking attorney looks at it and he goes, yep, don't do it. And he's like, hey, I can't do the deal anymore because
the worst, man.
Yeah, he's like, my attorney scared me with the seller finance terms, because what happens if because he's got a 3-year balloon. So no matter what, he's getting cashed out in 3 years. Like no matter what. Actually, I think we even came back and changed it to a 2-year balloon. So anyway, whatever. So we said, this is whatever. So what would happen is basically we sell it, wrap the note essentially, and then we either sell the note or we keep it, whatever. But his underlying would have been paid off in like the first 13 lots we sold.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter what, we were in a good spot. He's like, yeah, but I'm just worried that I'm going to get stuck with the bad lots and you guys are going to walk away, or, I'm going to have to deal with these guys in the long term if you guys walk away, and then I have to deal with these notes and it's wrapped. I was like, no, like we're paying you off no matter what in 2 years. Like we're calling the note due, we have to pay you off. Like it's perfectly fine. He's like, I don't know, man. He's back and forth. And then finally we're like, dude, why don't we just do a cash? Like, let's just do a cash. And that's it. So, I mean, what are we losing? We're losing, instead of, 7%, I get lending at 10%. So it's like 3% more.
Yeah.
It's not the worst case scenario. It's just whatever.
Where's
Just
this at?
Texas, McLennan County. It's like 20 minutes outside of Waco.
How
Is that
many?
what you were just showing me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 298 acres. So,
Damn.
yeah.
It's a big boy.
It's a big boy. It's a 10-acre exempt here.
So you got a lending partner on that then?
Yeah. Yep. So we have a lender on it. That's the property right here. That's what it
Nice.
looks like. So right now this is the only one we don't get, but we're gonna actually buy this after we close.
Wait, we don't see your mouse.
What's that?
I don't see your mouse. Which one?
Oh, okay. The top left above 27.
There you go. There's his mouse.
There's my mouse. Oh, you know why? Because I was on the wrong screen. Right here. This one.
Yeah.
We're not buying, but we're gonna buy this after we close escrow, because he's like, I don't want them to know I'm selling until after. Then I'll tell them, and then you can buy this one and this one. Cool, fine. But super easy, double road. I was telling him before though, JP, that water is here and water is here.
Oh shit!
Both tapped out. We can't get any meters. We asked,
What?
can we even expand the lines? Like, we'll pay for it. And they're like, no, we literally, like, we're tapped. We can't push any more water. So we're like, okay, maybe wells. Wells are 3,000 feet deep in this area. So
3,000?
yeah. Yep. So now we have to change it, and it's going to be dry land with card-in water, all that stuff. So it's not the end of the world. It just changes the deal. But luckily, we're at a price point. We're buying for $3,800 an acre, all in. Dry land sells for $8K an acre all day.
Yeah, dude.
No
That's
matter what.
money.
It's still like pretty crazy. It's over $1 million plus deal profit after lending and after everything. If it's whatchamacallit, if we have sell everything on notes, it's almost the $3 million profit. If we sell everything on notes, which that's very unlikely, but it's possible. So.
And how'd you get this deal? Somebody came across it to you, or you're reaching?
Mailer. We sent a seller finance offer through the mail. That's it.
So you're marketing the 10, like you and Ryan weren't you doing North Carolina or something for a while?
Yeah, we do North Carolina. We do everywhere, man. Honestly, like there's no hesitation. Like we changed our marketing a little bit. I could actually, let me see if I have a map.
So these big ones, it's literally a direct mail seller finance type offer.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. So this is something we just I just marketed this. This. Share screen, entire screen. This one. This is just like our map of the last month of all the places we hit. Just this month. So like we're all over the friggin' state.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know what I mean? And that's only part of our marketing. There's also stuff in Texas. There's other stuff. This is just like one type. So like this day and age, this new, like the way we buy land now, you have to be like everywhere. You have to fully like really be out there, or the opposite is also true. Stick to one state and learn it so freaking well.
Yeah.
You could crush it, because it's different than it was, like 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Totally different. So
yeah, I mean, that's how we did it, man. We started in Arkansas and we did 2 to 20 acres. Like that was our bread and butter. And the more and more that we learned, then it was like, all right, like we could probably add, 20 to 100 acres and see if we can do different types of deal structures. But we stayed, in Arkansas, but we did like the market analysis to see which counties would support those types of sales. And then, after we did all that, we're like, all right, let's just go for infill lots. And so we pulled the counties that the infill lots were flying off the shelf, and then we started marketing there. So we, for the first, I would say for the first year or so, we were just going deep into Arkansas. And then we had this crazy wild idea of doing Google PPC.
Yeah. How did that go, by the way? I want to ask about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, when we first started Google PPC, we used Bateman Collective. Dude, they were phenomenal, man. Like, I've done a lot of different Google PPC companies, and I would say Bateman Collective is like the gold standard.
Yeah, I've heard of them before. Yeah.
Yes. So we had a really good account manager, but the thing is, Arkansas. What's the population in Arkansas? 2 million, total in the state.
2.9, call it 3 million.
Yeah. So it's hard. It doesn't even make sense to run a Google PPC campaign to one state, which is, we wanted to stay in Arkansas, but just the cost per lead, cost per click, cost for conversion to 2 million people was extremely high. They were like, here's what we normally see. Here's where you guys are. And I was like, all right, well, what do we have to do to fix it? And they said, you got to cast a wider net if you want to bring all those costs down. And I was like, oh man, that doesn't really, I don't really want to cast a wider net, but we did. And we said, let's just go nationwide. And it was wild, dude. We were getting, like Nick was saying, we were getting stuff in Montana, Tennessee, Louisiana. I mean, we haven't been with Google, or we haven't been with Bateman for over a year now, and we're still closing deals in our pipeline from the leads that we got from the Google PPC. So, but what we realized, man, this was my big takeaway. You can't choose the markets that you're getting, where your leads are coming from, right?
Yeah, you can't choose. Yeah. You don't know.
Then not only that, dude, but when you talk about going deep in a market on leads, you're also talking about going deep in a market on contacts as well, relationships, right? And so, dude, there is an exponential factor involved with relationships with title companies and contractors and agents and all of that, right? And so when you start to go to California and Tennessee and all these places you've never been, dude, analyzing the market, that's part of it, right? Comping a deal, but building the relationships with those people is what takes so much time. And so that's, when we said, okay, let's reevaluate this. So we went wide, but then we pulled it back to three states. Now we're in Arkansas, South Carolina, and Florida. And in those states, we've developed relationships that, like I said, man, there's just an exponential return on those relationships that allow for you to have that speed to lead. And then, the cost that it takes of just people's time is no longer there because we already have those relationships. And so.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's like jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing. When you cast such a wide net, you don't have those relationships. You don't know the little nuances of a market, things like that. So it's really hard. So that's the one thing that's bad about PPC and things like that. Also too, we get a lot of organic leads coming in from our website, which is great. Problem is 90% of them are just terrible, right? It's usually because nobody else is reaching out to them because it's not in a good market. So they're like,
right?
How do I sell my land fast? And Cash for Land USA comes up, right? So they go there, they submit their property, boom, we buy it, right? Or if it's a good deal, right? But I look at the deal, I'm like, there's no action in this market, or it's a terrible infill lot, or whatever the case may be. So half the time it's we get it in the CRM and it's just pass, see you later. It's not worth it. So that's the one negative with PPC and stuff like that. Now, I guess also you could, if you wanted, be selective about your markets. Just know your cost per lead and stuff like that.
100%. Yeah.
It would be very expensive, right?
Yep.
But you're hitting them right in a local market, things like that.
Yeah, and if you're in a market like Florida, I mean, dude, there's 17 million people in Florida or something like that. And
there's 22.
Yeah, ridiculous. Freaking, but if you're in Arkansas, it's 2 million. It's just it's really difficult.
Right. But is that going by the property location or their personal location? Because
it would be personal. It's wherever they're located.
so that's the other nuance there. Like, because they might live in freaking Wyoming, but own land in Arkansas, and like you're running PPC for Arkansas, but they're not going to get hit because they're in Wyoming.
Yeah.
So it's like it's really hard. Versus like houses, it works for houses because they live at that house. You know,
most of the time. Yeah.
Most of the time, yeah. Unless it's a rental or whatever. But
I know at one point we're paying like $3-4 grand a month for Arkansas with Bateman, and we were capturing 40% of the market, and the leads weren't that good. The only competitor that was beating us was Zillow. They were like getting 50%. We were getting like almost half the market. They got 50%, we got 40%, and then it was like sprinkled throughout whatever else. I'm
that's
like,
crazy.
And we weren't even getting that many leads. It was weird. It was weird. And they weren't that good. So it sucked. But we did it for a year, learned a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if anything, not for nothing, it drove people to our website for organic SEO and stuff. So for brand authority, it helped in that aspect. But other than that, man, it was pretty rough.
Are you guys blogging on your website or anything like that?
No, not right now. But I mean, we were when we first started our website, but we haven't gotten back to it. I actually have a ton of blogs that are ready to go. They just need to be put up there. We have an SEO company that we use that is doing all that for us.
Nice. I was going to say just ChatGPT it. I'll go in there and I'll say, give me like 20 friggin' blog posts and I'll take them and then I'll just boom, copy paste, like plop them in there. Because at the end of the day, like everything's AI on Google now anyway, so it doesn't even matter. So you just plop it in there. You're just looking for that organic traffic. And it works, man. We get like, we'll do like selling land in Arkansas, selling land in Texas, selling land in this and to building a house in Texas, building a house in this, and just like keep posting every day. And it just, Google wants to see activity. So that's how you'll generate more, right? So
yeah, Google actually, they actually switched what they, what they weight more, like what they're giving more credit to. And like, I think it was like at the beginning of the year, they've really gone to like brand, right? Like they want to see like people that are building a brand, like real companies. Cause there's, like you said, man, there's a lot of people that are chat GPTing everything. And there's a lot of noise out there now. And what Google has really gone to is like the authentic brands, people that are posting videos and real content on social and all these other places. And so the company that we're working with, they're called Lead Boss Marketing. They're working with us to, have you ever heard of something called like a Google Stack? Google Stack?
Maybe, I don't really know.
So Google stacking, which is like something that's like almost like a shortcut to drive up SEO. So basically, like for your blog, you take your blog and you turn it into a short 1 to 2 minute video, and you put it on YouTube. And then so what you're doing is like you have the video content that's linked back to your website. And then there's also there's another piece to it. There's like the blog, the YouTube, and there's another piece to it. But what it's doing is it's just creating like this omnipresence of like your keyword, the backlinks and stuff like that. And so, dude, like as soon as we started doing that, it was crazy. Like if you do a search, it's like we end up like page 1, almost like within 2 months of doing the Google stacking. That's awesome. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
And they do everything for you?
Yep. They'll do everything for you.
Post and everything like that?
Yep.
That's awesome. How much does that run a month?
So I get the homie hookup because I'm doing a little bit of business consulting and some other things. Like we go back for a very, very long way. So I mean, I think it's like $300 a month maybe for people. I mean, dude, it's ridiculously cheap
considering what they're doing.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
One deal a year out of it, it's freaking worth it.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And it comes like it's like a full service shop, right? So they've got like their SEO, they've got, they provide the website, they have a CRM, like everybody's building out their own version of Go High Level these days, it's crazy. Yeah. So it's like you can offer all of that. So
that's awesome. Nice. Yeah. So it's not, I mean, yeah, that's exactly what you got to do is like create that omnipresence if you look at like RPM, like Rocket Print and Mail, what they have is like that small business everywhere kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that, but it definitely works. But what they do is like anybody who clicks on your website or anything like that, that cookie saves and then it tracks them and whatever. So like every time they go on YouTube, they'll see your ads. You go on this, they'll see your ads. Like it makes sense, but now it's just like, okay, you have to create those ads. You have to get all that stuff going, whatever. So it works, but at the end of the day, people still have to click on your thing.
Yeah.
For that tracker to get tracked. So it's pretty cool stuff. But I think honestly, that's part of like the future. I do a lot of these talks, and this one girl, Kay Walker, comes on here, and she talks about like she's building a brand awareness, right? Kind of exactly like you're doing.
Yeah.
She's in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, 3 markets. That's it. She's like, I want to be able to drive, meet my sellers, all that stuff, which makes total sense. Doing really well. She's only been in the land business 8 months, and she's crushing it. She's having her first 6-figure month this month, or next month, something like that, making like $174K. And she's been doing great, honestly. And we talked about this, and one thing she does is what you call it? Her business is set up at a Regis office, right? So when you Google her company, she has her Google address. It shows up, all that stuff. It's right on there, like an actual legit business. And you're going to get better, when people are Googling you, like that's the first thing everybody does. Like, like Google cash for land and see if we're a scam. You know what I mean? Like, So that's always what has to happen. So I really feel like if you don't have your online presence and things like that this day and age, like you're not going to go anywhere. You're slacking,
Yeah, I think it's contributed to a lot of people who have wanted to work with us. Nick and I are both military veterans. Our name of our company is Veteran Land Buyers. You go on our website, we have, tons of videos of me and him, like talking about our service, talking about, our background, talking about the company. And we get a lot of people, like our acquisitions manager. He's like, dude, they want to sign the contract because they're also veterans and they want to work with veterans, right? And so I think a lot of that comes back to the online presence, the videos, and all of that stuff. So yeah, dude, I think it's huge, man. Like you said, there's just so many scams out there. I was talking to Nick. I'm like, dude, do we want to tell them about the freaking multi-million-dollar scammer that we ran into? It's like,
yeah, I want to talk about that.
The FBI deal with the FBI.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. All right. You got to tell us that. What happened?
It got crazy. And Nick's the type of dude. He's like, yeah, we're gonna get the FBI involved in this. I'm like, you're fucking nuts, dude.
Tell me. I need to know more. That's awesome. This is great.
True story. So I'm in Jacksonville, Florida, right? So the deal came in from a Google PPC. Guy filled out the web form. I called him, started talking to him. He knew everything and anything about this land. It's on Beaver Lake, which is right outside where all the money is in Arkansas, right outside of Benton in Washington County, Northwest Arkansas. So people that like work for Walmart, Tyson, the headquarter areas, they'll travel to Beaver Lake for the weekend and go to their cabin or their land or whatever. So this was like 162 acres, if I remember right. Nice. Huge. All fucking lake frontage.
Dude, beautiful property.
Beautiful. And like I saw like I think I planned out like 8 or 10 different based off the elevation on Land ID, like, oh, I'm gonna put a house here, I'm gonna put a house here, like house sites, right? It was three or four different parcels. One of the parcels was on a peninsula. So it doesn't matter how you cut it up, you would have a lake view everywhere. That's
awesome.
It was primo. So I talked to this guy. And he was the nephew of the owner, right? The nephew. So he knew, there was a little cabin or a little house on a property, everything. Like, didn't hesitate with anything. He had a POA signed, which was fraudulent. He had a power of attorney signed, notarized, the whole nine, fake notary.
Jesus.
Dude, so it was a legit scammer.
Yeah. He went to school for it and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't sound like he's from Pakistan. Like he was an American. Like he sounded like he was from Arkansas. So He wanted, I don't even know how much, maybe a little over 1 million. And I negotiated him down to like 600,000 or 700,000.
Mm-hmm.
Got under contract with this guy and then pushed it.
Yeah.
The true owner lives in California. And I looked it all up, he's a retired doctor from that area and been verified everything. He lives in California. So push a contractor or a title company, and within hours, maybe a day max, they're like, "Hey, we think this might be fraudulent." This.
We're like, no.
The best deal ever.
Yeah. So Tracy, that's our TC. She started digging into it and looked up the notaries, their ID or whatever that's registered in the state of Arkansas or whatever state. Looked that up. The name, it didn't match anything. Yeah. She Googled that person's name, Sally Smith or whatever her name was. Googled notary for that county and this and that, and then looked in the whole state registers for all the notaries, right? And searched her name and found 3 of them, and none of them matched the signature or whatever. None of them were the same person.
Wow.
So went down the fucking rabbit hole with that, and I was like, you know what? Let's lead this guy on and hammer him. I called the doctor. And say, hey, sir, I don't know if you know this or not, but your nephew, Mike Smith or whatever, he's selling your land, and you signed a power of attorney over to him. He's like, what are you talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So I said, yeah, this guy, he told me his name, your nephew, and this and that, and said everything. I'm like, does anybody know the layout of your land, like this guy and your house and everything on it? Well, I had a contractor out there doing a lot of work at the house for like months.
Yeah.
That makes sense then. So I called the guy back. I'm like, yeah, man. He was like texting me like, when's this deal closing? What's going on?
Because yeah.
So I was leading him on, we got to get a survey to verify the acreage and this and that. There's a Jacksonville FBI regional office by my house. I'm like, I'm driving there. So I literally go there. It was the craziest thing. I couldn't even get in the building. I was in like the pass an ID, where the gate is.
Yeah. I
said, hey, I told the gate guard, I want to talk to a field officer or field agent and put in a report.
Yeah.
Or,
like a normal person and just saying, okay, it's a dead deal. This guy's like, oh no.
He's like, I'm getting this fucking guy arrested.
He's a true patriot. He's doing his duty. He's like, this is going down.
Yeah.
Mike Smith, you're going in fucking jail.
Yeah, that's how it was, man. So I talked to this field agent, her and a new guy. So he was like there just learning. I gave
you sat in the office like 4 hours waiting for them to come out, right? Like it was something.
I must have waited there, I don't know, maybe an hour before they finally came out and met me. So I sat, gave him the whole story, the whole shebang, all the information. And she's like, why don't you contact the local sheriff? I'm like, the local sheriff? This is a multi-million-dollar deal. It's across three state lines, Florida, Arkansas, and the owner lives in California. How is this not a federal crime felony? Like, what the fuck? What am I paying taxes for? And that's what I said. I said, I want to make sure this goes somewhere. And this guy gets hammered. So lo and behold, they pushed it to the Arkansas office out of Little Rock.
Mm-hmm.
And we just found out last week or the week prior from our title company in Arkansas, the one we mainly deal with. He's like, hey, you remember that big multi-million-dollar deal in the lake? He was dealing with another title agency in Northwest Arkansas on it. Remember that? And Donna, I'm like, yeah, whatever happened? He's like, dude, they contacted the Arkansas one and they set up the closing with this guy. And he's like, they had guns drawn the whole nine.
No way.
Yeah.
Yes.
But here's the curveball. He never showed up. He never
fashion. He was one step ahead of him. He already knew.
Yeah.
He already knew.
That's what happens half the time. Like they do all this stuff thinking they could go without title, right? And they try to get you to do it without getting title or getting something done, or they'll use a fake notary to sign their stuff, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they try to do. But the second somebody's like raises a red flag and says, "Oh yeah, you got to show up at the title company, or whatever," they don't show up.
Yep, exactly. So they caught it because it was either the email or the phone number that was on the contract they said, we've seen this email before. This email was associated with another account, another title, another contract that ended up being fraudulent. So he's still using the same freaking contact information.
And it was in the system, like it was in our system. And here's another thing on that, Dennis. Like every time I tried to call a guy, never answered the phone. He would call back.
Yeah.
So, and it was a VoIP. It was like a Google voice number or something.
Yep. So he's hiding his number and all that shit too. That's amazing, dude.
Title companies are important, man. Good title companies are hard to find, and when you find one, man, it's important.
And
we
also
almost had another one. Remember the one in Houston, that infield lot?
Oh yeah.
We were getting ready to close. This guy wanted like $80,000. We got him down to fucking like 35, 40K, and we're under contract. And we're getting ready to close, and like a couple days before, the title agency's like, we're 99% sure this is fraudulent.
Yeah. Same. It was almost the same exact situation.
Probably the same guy, just maybe used a different email.
Right.
Yeah. They're like, we're not going to do a mail away for this. He has to come in person.
Smart.
We told him that, hey, you got to go to this title company. Never heard from him.
Yep. That's what happens. They'll move on to the next guy and hope that somebody will just self-record or something like that.
So that and along with all these wholesalers clicking our ad and paying $40 for bullshit.
I hate that.
And just people like, I guess they were just randomly competitors clicking the ad, and it's an Indian reservation in Nevada or something. It's like bullshit, right?
Navajo,
Yeah.
We were just blown through money like that. I'm like, God, this sucks, man.
Yep.
So them three things sucked with PPC.
Yeah, that's the thing is like we ran it in South Carolina just to try it. We were like, let's do one state. Let's just stick with it. Let's really try it. And the results were terrible. Like we didn't really get great hits on stuff and everything like that. And I think it's kind of like what we talked about. A lot of people don't live in state or out of state that do want to sell whatever. Yeah, so we just like kind of were like, meh, I don't think this is the best. So kind of moved on. I just don't think it I'm sure somebody will get it to work. I just don't think I don't think it works right now. So I don't know. So all right, sweet. So you guys are you guys back to just sticking to like Arkansas and stuff like that, or where are you guys looking now?
No.
Yeah, so we do Arkansas, Florida, South Carolina, and not even like the whole states. Like Nick has like this Rain Man mentality of like picking markets and looking at numbers. His spreadsheet is like 72 columns long. And he's like, okay, this county, this is the one that we're targeting. So he identifies like the handful of counties, and then we're doing we're in some of them, we're pulling just like our high equity list, people who own 2 to 20 acres. And then in some other ones, we're doing like, in land, like tax delinquent, probably the same stuff most people do, right? Tax delinquent, probate. And then, those are the two big ones that we're pulling. So, And then for the marketing side of things, like we were doing cold calling. We actually, today we just made a big shift in our cold calling. We had it in-house. But, dude, this was like a really big realization for me. I've been doing this since 2016. Yeah. And I've done in-house cold callers. I've done, outsourced cold callers. But it was crazy because this week something hit me that's never really hit me before. And it was like, it was an eye opener. And, we were looking at the cold caller that we have, and we use Egyptian cold callers.
Yeah. They're actually really great. Like, honestly.
Yeah, they are good. They're not robots. They have personalities. They're hungry. They're hustlers. They're, you know what I mean? And they're loyal. They're actually pretty amazing to work with. And so, but one of the big things is like, dude, we're marketing to Arkansas, and it's a bunch of backwood racist white people. Yep. And so if they hear any type of accent, then their very first question is like, are you trying for the Chinese? Are you trying to buy all of our land? Like, dude, everybody always asks if we're buying land for the Chinese or if we're Chinese. Yeah. It's crazy.
Always. So, that's like what they go to first.
Yeah. So, but we had an in-house cold caller, but what I realized with the team that we have 7 people on our team. And we just didn't have everything like an internal, the framework for like, just like a robust cold calling training. Because, dude, we flip land. We're not a cold calling company, right?
No.
So it's like we didn't have a robust cold calling training. And then even like the feedback loop, like I've got people that are busy all day doing their jobs of like analyzing deals, making offers, and then we got our cold callers. And then so okay, so we pick up a $5 an hour cold caller, right?
Yeah.
But what it takes is like a high dollar an hour type of person like me, $200, $300, $400 an hour, whatever your time is worth, to then give them the feedback and make sure that they're getting trained. So that way my acquisitions dude can send out all the offers, right? And so it's like, it's not really a $5 an hour cold caller. It's a $305 an hour cold caller whenever I'm getting involved. And so I was just
you're 100% right. The more hands you have, like more your hand has to be in it, then the more expensive it gets.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. And so I was talking to Nick. I was like, dude, I really think that, we did outsource our cold calling and our text messaging to Lead Mining Pros when we first started. And it was okay. I mean, like we got pushed a bunch of junk. Honestly, it was like if they said yes to like their name, then we got it as a lead. And so it was just like, yeah. So we were like, so we tried to bring it in-house, or we did bring it in-house for a while. But then I was like, hey, let's try this again. We learned a lot through, outsourcing it and like bringing it in-house. And so like the conversation now with this Egyptian company is like, hey, we want you to fully manage it the way you guys are a cold calling company. So you manage it, you provide the training. Here's our stipulations now, which are a lot more clear than what they used to be. And so we ended up just shifting today, honestly, this morning, from having one in-house cold caller to now we're going to have 3 cold callers that are managed by them. So we're really going to be hammering our cold calling. We pulled back on the PPC. We're going to dump that into cold calling. So that's going to be our big one. And then, dude, the other sick one. Did we tell you about the AI that we're using?
No, I haven't.
No.
So, I see both smiling. Now I'm curious.
Yeah, dude, it's freaking phenomenal. So
really?
We ended up we were like a beta user for an AI cold caller company, and it was okay. I learned a lot. It never went off. It never got off the ground. And so through what I learned, I was telling Nick, I'm like, dude, I think I can build this in our CRM. Like our CRM has the ability to have an AI voice agent. And I said, I think I can build this. So like within a week and a half, like I had pretty much the entire thing built out. But the problem was you couldn't do any outbound calling. So you had to somehow initiate the sellers to call back in, and then they would go to the AI chatbot or the AI voice bot.
Right.
So what we ended up doing was we ended up starting a ringless voicemail campaign out of the CRM, and we were doing 1,000 a day. And dude, the responses that were coming in, it was like coming in all hours of the night. And not only did we have a voice bot, we had a text, like a chat bot, AI chat bot. And so it was like the text messaging was being all taken care of by the AI chat bot. The AI voice was being taken care of by that bot. And then what we had to do is just hire one. We have an Egyptian guy that is managing the AI portion of our business. And he's basically just going through and waiting for it to get spit out at the end, doing a seller lead sheet and pushing that to acquisitions. Or if he notices that it's missing some information, he'll go in there and he'll send a text message. And then when they text back in, the AI chatbot picks back up and continues the conversation. And so, dude, that was like, it was freaking sick. It was sick because this AI chatbot, and I'll just like for anybody who's thinking about it. So we made a big change about halfway through. I noticed that when people were calling in, like the AI, like most people don't catch it at first, but the longer the conversation goes on, the more opportunity that there is for like a glitch or a repeat or something where somebody would be like, wait a minute, is this AI?
Yeah.
Right. And then at that point, you've lost them because then they feel like they got duped, right? They feel like they've been lied to. So what we did is at the beginning of every text and every voice call, we say, hey, my name is Jessica. I'm an AI assistant for, Jerry, who's our acquisitions team lead. I'm here to help, blah, 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 blah. And dude, the reception that we got from that was like way better than any
Really?
like than not. Oh yeah, dude. Telling people that they were talking to AI at the very beginning of the call allowed them to be like either opt in or opt out. And more time, like I can't even tell you, like I think I can't even count on two hands the amount of people that said, no, I don't want to talk to AI. I want to talk to a real human. Most people would talk to the AI, dude, because it sounds so real because there's been so many advances in it. So
I'd be like, fuck this robot. Give me a person.
People would get on with Jerry, our acquisitions manager, and be like, hey, I was talking to your AI. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
like, old people, even old people.
Yeah, like, right. They're probably like, I might as well just see what this does here. It seems pretty cool.
I mean, it carries on a conversation like a human. Like most people wouldn't know. Like like JP said, like unless the conversation goes on too long, then it might glitch or repeat itself. But off the rip, if you're not told, like we were doing test calls to each other, right? It would call me. Like if somebody doesn't know, if they don't have that biased mindset that it's a robot about to call, you're not going to fucking know 90% of the time.
Yeah. That's awesome. What are you still running that now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's still
caveat.
So yeah, Nick is laughing because our number just got shut down because I was doing I beefed it up, dude. I doubled it and I probably shouldn't have. And so I'm working to get my number turned back on. So
yeah, that sucks.
RVM flag.
Yeah, RVMs suck, man. I'm not a big fan because like RVMs are technically like illegal kind of thing.
Yep. Not technically they are, yeah.
They are, yeah, right.
The download.
Yeah. But now the way they do it is like it does ring once, right? So it's like not illegal because it does ring once. That's like the whole thing or whatever. But still, yeah.
Yeah.
People crush it with them now. They still crush it. I'm just a little bitch. I don't know. I can't. I just can't risk it. Did you guys do any mail or none at all?
No mail. Well, no, that's not true. Actually, through that same company, that Lead Boss Marketing Company, we do I guess it's called PPL, like pay per lead, but it's like a different version of it. So they have something, it's called Lead Fuel is the program. And basically what we're doing is we're capturing people who are visiting our website but not submitting information, and they're able to capture like whatever their cookie is that it leaves on the site. So name, address, phone number, and what we do is we send out like postcards. We do like these are people that are like hot leads, dude. These are people who are interested to sell, but they haven't submitted their information. So we do like these little 5-touch. Like they're kind of bent up now, but like we send out like all these postcards. These are all like different versions of the postcard. And we do like a 5-touch campaign over 5 weeks.
Nice.
And then we also send them an email with whatever they leave on their cookie. And then that's about all we can do because they don't opt in to receive like text or calls. So we can't text or call them.
Yeah.
So we just do the postcard mail and then the email. So yeah, it's like there's a couple of different versions of that. Like I don't know how they do it, dude. It's like freaking magic how they capture all this crap. But I mean, depending on how big you want like to cast your net, man, like you could get hundreds of leads a day that are people that are searching for the keywords, and coming to your website that you wouldn't normally see.
I love it. Yeah, that's the thing is like you could capture that traffic. Those people are gonna sell, right? They've already like done the hard work of like raising their hand saying they want to sell. It's like, how can I get them? How can I like bring them into my fold?
Exactly.
Now, have you guys ever you guys used to do mail, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nick started with mail. And then whenever, we ended up partnering up, I was like, yo, bro, like we got to do some text messaging, man. Like it's way cheaper. Right. And that was back before HP. So
it's so much cheaper, but like texting and cold calling is cheaper. I just love the simplicity of mail. Like, I don't have to have a whole team and all this crazy stuff. I just get it, send it, see you later, and then it comes back in, and they're already pre-qualified. They're ready to sell.
Yeah,
not all the time, but obviously if they're calling and they're interested in selling, it's an easy transaction.
What's your KPIs on mail right now? Like, what kind of return are you? 0.5%, 1%? Or is it dictated by like the size?
Response rate.
Mm-hmm.
So response rate right now, average is just under 0.5%. So, which isn't terrible. And then we get them back. Now I was just telling JP about this before too, because we've been getting a lot of acquisitions, like a lot of contracts getting signed, but we cancel a lot of them right now just because the way things have been going lately, any kind of red flags, we just cancel them because like I'm only buying good properties, you know?
Mhm.
So we're being a lot more selective with them.
Mhm.
So our return is really good. Our return on ad spend is good, but our contract ratio has gone down, right? Because we're very selective on the ones you actually do buy. So like we'll do less deals but make more money is the goal, kind of thing.
Are you
So
doing blind offers only? Like what kind of range offer? What do you do?
mix. So like a blind range. So like we fixed our mailer so that we could put like on the same thing, we could send a blind and a range. So it depends on the price point. So let's say if what are we at? If we're making a property's worth 50K is our minimum we'll market to, like property's worth 50K. So we're offering 35% of market to that. And then all the way up to 400K, we offer 65% at 400K. But anything over 400K, we're offering a range between I think it's like 60% and 70%, something like that, or 75%. I forget. I gotta look. That's what they do. But the way our letter reads, I could send the same exact merge proof over, and it just reads the same. You know, because we're offering $300,000 for your property, blah blah blah. We're offering between $340,000 and $800,000 for your property, or whatever it is, right? Just made it simpler. So we do that blind range, and then we also do seller finance. So we'll send out a specific letter
Yeah.
for seller finance saying, "Hey, we noticed your property, we really like it. Right now, we're able to offer you, 10% down, full price of this, 10% down over this with the 3-year balloon." Boom. And pretty easy, like way to set those up on Excel or whatever, or Google Sheets, and then you just boom, pop it in, merge proofs go in, and it's easy.
Yeah, that's pretty wild, dude. The owner finance thing is pretty sweet. I like that.
Yeah, so this deal we got. I sent out 2,200 letters on owner finance. I got like 6 calls from it, so not a huge response rate, but I didn't expect it because these parcels were over 100 acres. So typically that's a low response rate there. We ended up really negotiating with 2 and then got into contract with 1. So 2,200 letters for almost $1 million, like
Yeah.
more than $1 million profit. Like, dude, it's $1,000 to make $1 million. That's like I don't know, more than 100x ROAS.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer, you know? So we're going to do more and more of those this year. And then we also started doing more like tighter knit marketing. Like we did a deal in October that we bought and listed it, and in one day it went under contract, made 60 grand in one day. It's crazy. So like, I want more of those deals. So we were like selective. We went around a lake, selected all the properties that are in the lakefront, priced them one way, and anything like within like 500 feet of the lakefront, priced them another way. And it just so happens we scored one. It was like 600 letters we sent, scored one, made 60 grand.
Nice.
But that's all you need. Like you don't need 6 deals per letter. You just need one.
Yeah. And I think, like, to your point, man, like, it's not that letters are dead. It just depends on what works for your business, right? Like,
100%.
we got this kid that we're mentoring out in, where the hell's he at? Arizona.
No, well, he lives in California.
But he's marketing to Arizona, and we try, like, we're like, hey, look, here's what we're doing, and it was just like it wasn't working for him, and so we're like, all right, listen, like, here's a simpler way to do that. Why don't you pull this list, send some mailers, and the dude got a deal like right away, and it fit his business style, it fit his lifestyle, right? Like he had a 9 to 5, so getting off of work and text messaging and cold calling, he was just like exhausted, so he ended up sending this mailer, and he got a deal, dude.
I think that's the way to do it. Yeah, you have to find what works for your business. Like, I'm more of like I like working from 4:30 a.m. to like 6 a.m. So mail works for me because I could do that early in the morning, get all that stuff ready to go. I mean, we have our team that does everything pretty much. I just do like some of the market selection or just approve things now. But like I like doing that, and then on the acquisition side, when a deal comes in, goes through our AM, he deals with all that stuff. He'll send us notes and things like that. And then I just approve or disapprove, get it under contract. And then during the day, when a deal actually gets signed, he'll call realtors or I'll call realtors and we just lock it up and that's it.
Yep.
So I like the simplicity of that business versus like high churn, texting, and all that stuff. Then you're constantly like on the phone. You're this and that. You're negotiating. Some of these people you're talking to, you have to keep hitting them for like 6 months till you get a deal signed.
Yeah.
You know, you will make a ton of money when you look at your KPIs over a long time, but it's just like that business to me is kind of like whatever. Like I have a couple businesses, so I'm like, I need to be in multiple places.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How big's your team?
We have three people right now. So it's
You and Ryan and
one
300?
yeah, well, not including me and Rob. It's
Wow.
5 with me and Rob, and then I have two data girls. They're both in the Philippines, and then one Egyptian acquisitions manager. And that's that. So it's just the 3 of them, and then me and Rob.
Yeah.
So, but you know, the business is lumpy. That's the one thing. You have months where you're winning like crazy, and then you have months where it's like nothing happens. You know,
Yep.
we all see it. It's really hard to get consistent because we can't control the dispo side of things. You know, like we could put a property, we could bring it to market, we could do everything we can, but we can't force a sale. That's the hardest part about this.
So you think it's like a gold mine. You're like, dude, this is like, it's ideal, right? And you put it on the market and it's like,
dude, I have a property I'm sitting on right now for almost 10 months, and this one is killing me. We bought this thing for 60 grand. The property fucking that shares a border literally right next door, same zoning, same everything, sold for 347. I was like, we are going to crush it. It's been on the market for 10 months. We're currently listed at 87,000. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I just don't understand it. My realtor's, he's like, I don't get this, dude. I don't get it. He's like, this is a beautiful property, great spot. You could develop it. You could do anything you want and you'll crush it. I don't know why it's not moving.
Can you do any work to it to maybe improve it a little bit?
That's the thing. It's like, okay, if I go do some improvements, whatever, my cost basis obviously goes up. Am I actually going to get the return out of it? I haven't had any hits, even at such a low price, considering the comps.
Yeah.
what state?
What's that?
What
Georgia.
state? Georgia?
Yeah. Coweta, Georgia, which is a pretty good area. Like, there's development, there's builders, everything like that. There's a development not even a 1/10 of a mile away.
Damn.
Full subdivision. I really thought it was like a shoe-in. And
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's just weird how the dispo side of it works, man. Sometimes that happens. And then you get other ones where I'm like, this might sit for like 6 months and it freaking sells in a day. And you're like, I don't get it. I really don't.
Oh, I just saw that there were comments on the side of this little window here, dude.
Yeah, there's some comments.
Like if you click in there, there's like, it says private chat and comments. There's people that are like asking things, huh?
Yeah. How much are you paying your AM?
Let's see. Okay. Yeah. How much are you paying your AM?
Who? So I pay, ours gets 10 plus 5%.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty similar to ours. Ours gets 11 plus 4%.
Yeah. So pretty much the same thing at the end of the day.
Yep.
Can AI recognize personality types on the phone conversation and adjust its approach to improve conversations?
No, not our AI. I'm sure there is AI out there that does that. Ours, I mean, it doesn't adjust, but it can recognize, like, if someone's upset, it'll be like, I understand you're upset, but then it just goes right back to the script. Like it'll recognize and empathize a little bit, but it doesn't really change its personality. Not for ours anyway. So that's a good question, though.
Hey, we got Maria. Maria lives in Spartanburg. If we need boots on the ground.
Yeah, she's awesome. Here, let me see.
Oh, sweet.
If you have, I don't know if you have these or not, but I'll share it here. I'll share it in the comments. I'll give it to you too. I have all these like, I'll throw it in the here to look in the private chat, and then I'll put it in the public one too. This is a infographics. Can you feed them to your AI to learn?
Let's see what this info. Oh,
Here, let me. I'll open it up on my end and I'll show them to you.
Oh, wait. Is this? Did you present this at LIA?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember seeing these.
Yeah.
Where you at? Where you at?
Yeah, I'm gonna just show you.
Oh, it's a Google Drive link.
Yeah. So can you pump these through your AI to teach it?
So you can, but I don't know if you could do a picture. If you can make it into a document.
I have all the docs too. I could give them all to you if you want.
Yeah, it has a knowledge base. You can feed it all of that.
So what he was asking, what JD was asking is, will it tell solid colors and things like that? So I wonder if you teach it this, would it be able to pick up on that?
Yeah, it might be able
Right?
to. I mean, like, so I programmed its entire personality. So, I mean, you can say, hey, go out and, negotiate like Chris Voss or negotiate like this person. Like, you can go out and have it learn and like come back and do that. So I think that's what you're asking. Yeah, it's just got to be
exactly. Like here, tactical empathy, like
yeah, there you go.
there, whatever. Yeah. So I have all this stuff on a doc. So what I did is I created the docs and then I gave it to my guy and he created all these infographics for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'd be pretty cool. So I wonder if it's worth maybe throwing some stuff in there and like and seeing if it like actually learns some more things, right?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for the link.
Yeah. I could get you the docs. So I'll send them to you later. I got scammed here. Bodie got scammed by a guy in Florida. Was it you guys? You scammed Bodie in Florida?
Yeah.
Well, we got to ask Bodie. Like, obviously, I mean, what is his name? Is it Grant Cardone or some shit? Like,
he's in Florida, right? Yeah.
He's in Florida.
Hey, he's made billions actually.
Who is it, Bodie? Let us know.
Bodie's on Facebook. He's the one that actually connected us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, reconnected us. We've known each other. But yeah, who's winner one? Hey, I sent thousands of mailers using LIA 0 to hero course. Still no deals. Please help. Winner, dude, drop us a thing on Discord. Like, it depends. There's so many nuances. Like your market selection, was it any good? Did you what did you look at when you were doing your market selection? How'd you pick your markets? All that stuff. That's probably the number one thing. What does your mailer look like? Is it just generic white text or generic black text on a white letter? Like, there's a lot of nuances to that. So I don't know. I can't say if you did anything right or wrong until we see kind of what you have on the back end. Yeah, Bodie, Xavier Thompson.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, not our scam. That's not our scammer.
No. That's amazing. Yeah, there's some fucked up people out there. Xavier.
You ain't lying.
I love it. So what are you guys doing now? So obviously you're still crushing your cold calling and everything like that. Where do you guys see yourself going this year? Like, what are the main focuses? Are you learning more entitlement stuff, or are you just taking whatever comes at you and trying to hit it?
Yeah, I mean, we'll take whatever comes at us. Like, obviously, the market's a lot different now than it was a couple of years ago. So, most land investors, I'm sure, unless you're doing $500,000 or $1 million of marketing, like it's a volume game unless you get really niche in a specific asset of vacant land. But this subdivide play that we're locking down today is just one of them. Then you got the bread and butter. You buy it for $5, you sell it for $20. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Like, we'll take the bread and butters all day for the base hits to feed the beast, right? And then you get a home run deal sprinkled in here and there. That's what it's about, right?
Yeah, really is.
That's the nature of the beast. Is all it is. Like you said, it's a roller coaster. Some months are good. Like, we just locked down 3 sales contracts last week. You know what I mean? And then there's a couple of weeks of nothing, a month of nothing. Yep. So it comes in waves, right? Try to get it consistent. You think you're going to be consistent, and then the next thing happens, or something gets shut down, or market shit, or this and that. And it's like you're constantly zigging and zagging.
Yeah. One thing I noticed too, we look back at our KPIs and stuff like that and track things. This time last year was the same exact thing as this year, right? Last year, we noticed acquisitions was doing okay, but dispositions was terrible. But come May, all of a sudden dispositions opened up and acquisitions slowed down. Yeah. So it's like it just yo-yos back and forth. So you almost have to anticipate like 2 quarters are going to be for acquisitions, 2 quarters are going to be for dispositions, and just set your business up like that. But then that's probably going to change in a year anyways, and then it'll be something different. So you can't even plan because there is no planning. That's the hardest part with that. And people who don't know how to like zig and zag, like you're going to fail. You're not going to stay with it. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think so our focus this year is going to be, and I know, like you said, like it's just about being flexible. But I think what we're really going to try to focus on a lot this year is more like a messy title type stuff. Like stuff that most people run away from.
Oh yeah.
we're going to try to get into some more messy title stuff. And, we look back at all of our deals that were just like bangers, like easy money. And it's like infill lots have been like the one thing that, like, when we look at all of them, like they normally list and sell within the same week. And so we're like, all right, maybe we should do more infill lots. And so we're going to do some more research on some infill lots. And then, some of the entitlement stuff. So those are like our three big focuses.
Market all our info lots are Lehigh Acres, Florida.
Yeah. You know what I look at too when I'm looking at deals or picking markets and things like that? I look at not days on market, but I look at pending, how fast things go pending.
Yeah.
That's where I base my market selection off of, because I don't give a shit. Like if there could be zero supply, there could be nothing for sale. But if you look back in the last 6 months, every deal that went on market went under contract in like less than 30 days. Like I want to be there, right? Because if you bring supply to the market, the demand is there.
Yep.
So it's just working that demand, finding those pockets of demand, and then really just like, okay, let's lock down a property, whatever, and then go for it. How
do you do that fast? Is there a way, like on Redfin or something? Is there a way to, like, you have a bot built to build like a spreadsheet to know that?
No, that's the hardest part, because you can't pull that data.
Yeah,
it's nuanced too. It's time consuming. Yeah. It is, but it isn't, because we have our base market selection, and I'll set my parameters up. Like we use Land Insights, and we go through there, set our stuff up through there and whatever. And that's our base. And then our base filters. And then we take that and I just go to the next level. And it's just a matter of clicking a few of the last sold comps, checking how fast things went pending. Yeah. And if I see like 50% of the market went pending within 30 days, that's a good market I want to be in, right? Because there's tons of demand. The downside with that is sometimes your mailer KPIs or cold call KPIs, whatever the case may be, might actually go down. You might get less acquisitions, like you might get less contracts or less response rate, because there is demand in that market. So maybe there's people aren't selling for that reason, because they're like, oh no, I'm going to hold it. It's a good market. But when you do get a deal, you're going to crush it.
Yeah.
So we look for that. I look for that little like kind of thing. And it's great. You know why it's great too? Because people can't pull that data, it's time consuming, which means it's harder to do. People are going to go for it.
Yep.
People want the easy button, probate, things like that. Like you're doing it. It's not the easy button. So a lot of people are like, go to the next one. They want the low hanging fruit. So try looking at that when you do your market selection. You'll notice like there's tons of markets that are just like prime, but you're not hitting them because they maybe don't check all the other boxes. So yeah. Well, cool guys. This has been awesome. I love it. I love to see you guys are still crushing it. Let's do this again.
Yeah, it's fun.
Love it. Well, let's also hop on another meeting with Rob soon. It's been a long time.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Sure.
Awesome, guys. I appreciate it. Well, thanks for coming to hang out. I will see you guys soon.
All right, man.
Later.
Peace.
Later.